Have questions you want answered? Send them to me. AskBadBrad@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, leave comments. Forget about it. Hey, folks, the man with the pinky ring and the New York thing, forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt, and you're watching another episode of Ask Bad Brad on the Ringside Report web TV channel. Now, if you'd like to be on a future episode of my show, please email your questions to AskBadBrad@gmail.com. Again, it's AskBadBrad@gmail.com. Please don't DM them to me, and please do not leave them on tweets when we promote this show on Twitter. Okay? And as well, follow me on Twitter at BadBradRSR. Again, at BadBradRSR. All right, folks, let's get into your great questions. Tonight, it's Saturday. Hey, it's the weekend. Forget about it. First up, Bad Brad, I'm curious how much blood money the Republicans wearing assault weapon pins to Congress are being paid by the NRA to do so. Not passing gun laws makes them murderers of children. Despicable and sickening. They aren't human. I'm so fucking livid. Crystal, well, Crystal, once again, great question. You're a regular on the show. So first you asked me about being paid by the NRA. Far too many. And if I know my stats, which I'm pretty good at because I research them, we only deal in facts on this show. The number one, drum roll, Republican in the Senate on the NRA payroll is Magic Underwear. Yes, Mitt Romney. He gets the most money. I want to say it's well over $10 million that old Mittster got. And, you know, people give Mitt a lot of credit, Crystal. I don't. Because if you remember, Crystal, and if you don't, you can research it. You can go to YouTube and find it, or type it in a Google search. When Trump was in the transition period and President Obama was still president, old Magic Underwear Mitt went to New York City in a high-rise building, and he met with Donald Trump to kiss his ass for the Secretary of State position, which he was never going to get, Crystal, because if you recall, Mittster in the campaign running up to the nomination and then ultimately the presidential election in 2016, Mitt told the truth about Trump, that he was a grifter and he wasn't a good businessman. You think that old indicted Donnie here forgot that, Mitt? Nah, not for a minute. So as far as how much blood money, so much blood money, so much. And I'm not going to say unequivocally that the Democrats don't take money from the NRA. I don't know that for a fact. I'm going to research that after I saw your question. I want to see if there's any Democrats on record that took any money from the NRA. I hope they haven't, but nothing surprises me in politics. But by far, the Republicans have taken much more. And what else did you say? Oh, the pins. The pins are despicable. These people that take these pictures with all of their kids underage and their family, wives, husbands, with the guns in their hands, the assault rifles, that's child abuse. I think that's despicable. We lost 3 children and 3 adults last week in Tennessee. And we will have many more mass shootings in this country because nothing is being done about it and by the Republican Party. So I understand, Crystal, how fucking livid you are, because I am equally fucking livid that children are being murdered senselessly in schools and the Republicans are doing nothing about it. All right, next up, Bad Brad. There's a couple questions here. First, why did you change your focus from boxing to politics? Number 2, with politics being so toxic, where do you see our country going? And 3, who is the best photographer who captured all of your boxing interviews while you were in Korea? All right, folks, full disclosure, I already know who this is. Keep up the great work and continue growing the show and conducting some of the best interviews. Ed the Eye Tarragano. All right, my brother, good questions. All right, let's start with the last one first. The best photographer that took pictures from my boxing interviews and everything and my boxing cards in Korea was Frank Sinatra, if you want to know the truth. I'm just kidding, but you didn't notice, Ed. I have it in my Sinatra memorabilia collection. In 1971, when Joe Frazier defended his title against Muhammad Ali, and he beat Muhammad Ali and he dropped him in the last round, Frank Sinatra was the photographer for Life magazine, and he got the cover shot of the magazine, and I have it in my collection, and it is a fantastic fantastic photograph, Ed. But the best, come on, you know I love you. I gave you credit in my induction Hall of Fame in June of 2021 when you and Lisa came. Of course, you're the best photographer that took my stuff when we were stationed together. We were fellow first class CTs stationed at Suslac on, what was it, Yongsan Army Base, which I believe now is closed, in Seoul, South Korea. And we traveled places, folks, Ed and I nicknamed them Ed the Eye. They had sent a car out gate 3. They'd pick us up. They'd take us to an airplane. And we went places that we can't even tell you because we were all over South Korea covering Korean boxing. And our liaison was our good friend, God rest his soul, WBC referee and judge David Chung, who sadly passed away of a heart attack unexpectedly in 2004. God rest your soul, David. So we started with that question first. And yes, you are. Then you ask me, with politics being so toxic, where do you see our country going? Well, it's not where it's going, it's where it's at, in the shitter. Because contrary to what some people may believe, I actually want 2 parties. Actually, I would like to see more than 2 parties in this country. It's time that we have a 3rd, 4th party that are just as strong as a voting bloc as the Democrats, Republicans. So when they don't do what they're supposed to do, we have another party to look at. And we have candidates to look at, because the Dems don't always live up. Yes, I'm true blue, and yes, I will vote Democrats, but they don't always live up to their promises. And you can't just make promises to your constituents and not live up to them. Now, granted, the Republicans in the current Congress and the Senate are obstructionists, especially in the House, but we're in the wrong direction. And I don't know when we're going to come out. I could say this, as we know, Donald Trump is being indicted in New York, and he's turned himself in Tuesday. Here's the problem, Ed. Even if Donald Trump were to die tomorrow, okay, here's the thing. The ideology of Trump doesn't go away. Of course, they make him a martyr and all of that bullshit that he doesn't deserve. But the ideology is out of the swamp, out of the garbage cans, out of the sewers. It doesn't go away. DeSantis is just as bad. And the constituents of this MAGA Republican Party love his ideology. So until we can get that back in check, and I don't know, Ed, if we ever can, it's not going to go in the right direction. However, I am an optimist, though I'm a realist at the same time. We have enough of us on our side that we can push back, but we must vote. And folks, Gen Z isn't the only answer, but they're a big answer. We need young people in politics, in these jobs. We don't need these old, rusty, crusty, usually predominantly white people in the Democratic Party that are in their late 70s, 80s, and almost 90s staying in power. We need young blood. Okay? So that's where I answered your second question. Your first one is, why did you change your focus from boxing to politics? Well, Ed, you know better than anybody else how much I love. In fact, people, if you didn't know that, that's me. Ed took that picture. That's with George Arce in 2002 in Seoul, Korea. He came to Seoul, Korea. I forget the auditorium name. Another fight that Ed and I covered. Ed was ringside. I was writing about it. And he knocked out the champion, Yo Sum Choi. He stopped him. And that green belt right there that you could see is a WBC. I believe it was flyweight or light flyweight. That I don't remember. Hold on a second. Let me take a look. It was the WBC. Yeah, light flyweight. I was right. Look at it. Man, I still got a memory. Ed, I still got a memory. Light flyweight. So you know better than anybody else, Ed, that I love boxing. But what happened is, as you know, the Bad Brad Berkwitt show was all about interviewing pretty much boxing people. Had some MMA people on, and every once in a while a business person. But we talk boxing for the most part. Second half of my interviews are always fun, random questions to learn about the person. But it was predominantly boxers, retired, active fighters, champions, former champions, you name it. Donald Trump, Ed. Donald Trump. I voted. I did my civic duty before Trump, and I always had my civil and civil rights issues and social issues that I spoke out on, because you know as well as I do, my pin video is my father, and that's where I get it from. But I wasn't political. Trump, and more Trump. And then when COVID hit, and he was in our mugs every single, got to go there, motherfucking day, Ed, with the stupidity of shoving a light up your ass and swallow bleach and and being jealous of Dr. Fauci, being more popular, and murdering people because of his mishandling of COVID, and the constant lies. And Helsinki in 2017, when he believed Putin over our people, and he should have been impeached for that, removed. Air Force One should have been gassed up, flew back to the States, and made his bloated ass swim back. Okay, Dan Coates and everybody else that was there, their jaws dropped. We never had somebody side with Russia. So seeing those things, I knew that I had to use my platform, Twitter, and my show, Ed, to fight back. This is my voice. This is my father and me, modern day, fighting back. Still love boxing. Disappointed with boxing, even though I was inducted into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, folks. There's my ring right here. Very proud of it. Got the plaque over there, and my fist cast and all that. And Ed and his wife, Lisa, were there. Very proud of it. Loved the sport more in my era than I do today, and I followed it religiously then. But Trump changed it for me. It's bigger. What's going on in the country is bigger than any sport: football, basketball, hockey, boxing, you name it. Okay, so I had to use my voice, and this is how I'm fighting back. And I'm bringing guests on my show that are moving humanity forward and also fighting for democracy. All right, Ed the Eye, my brother Tarragano from another mother. Give my best to Lisa and the family and Amani and everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. And I know you're going to be building that house soon. And I know what comes along with building a house. So I wish the best to you and yours in that crazy state of Tennessee. Oh, forget about it. Double forget about it. All right, folks, that's another episode of Ask Bad Brad on the Ringside Report web TV channel. Don't forget, only send your questions into askbadbrad@gmail.com. And remember, folks, and I truly, truly mean this, every act of kindness is a little love we leave behind. Bad Brad out.